it is finally time for me to do the 50k AMA, and I gotta confess, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. But for those of you just turning up going, what? Huh? What? Last week, I celebrated my 50,000 subscriber milestone, and I asked you guys to submit questions, and oh boy, did you submit questions. There's a lot of them. Benja asks, what is the Doom mod that I've had the most fun with? Probably Russian Overkill. That is the first thing that comes to mind anytime someone mentions the word fun and Doom mod. Russian Overkill, flat out. It is the most bonkers, over-the-top, ridiculous fun Doom mod I have played in a long time. If ever, if I'm gonna be honest. I mean, you can drop a cow on someone, you can fire a chain gun that launches tiny jet planes that also fire missiles, I guess. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you haven't played Russian Overkill and you want to have a real fun time, you should probably play Russian Overkill. Just saying. Just saying. Next question! Varagor23 asks, do I work on this channel full-time? Yes, this is pretty much my sole source of income, next to Patreon and Twitch. Which is kind of related to another question that someone asked me further up. They were asking if I'd stream more than just on Fridays. I already do! You just need to follow the goddamn Twitch channel. Do you have a new camera? Bazooka93 asks. I don't remember you being that ugly. Not that it matters. Where is the band button? Dio Wolf asks, how did I get introduced to Doom? I got introduced to Doom by the shareware demo way back in the day. I got my first PC and I got a big fat stack of PC demo discs. And I just went through them, because I didn't have the internet yet. I was just going through them. And Doom was one of them. And the rest, as they say, is pretty much history. What is my favorite obscure FPS game / mod? Kyle Williams asks. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Shogo Mobile Armor Division, but the kicker is I've never been able to get it to run properly for any significant length of time, but I've always really enjoyed it in some form or another. I should really try and get that working at some point. I'm sure people would like to see me play through Shogo. It's a game that was made by Monolith, who then went on to make Fear, so yeah, it'd be interesting to go back and check that out again. But yeah, that's probably one of the first things that come to mind. What are my thoughts on Doom Eternal? 5 Days a Stranger, the remake, asks. I am excited. Those are my thoughts. I am excited. When can I play? And is it here yet? Because Doomslayer got to kill some archviles. That's pretty much my thought process. Yeah. Andre asks, do I sometimes get tired of constantly playing Doom mods? Here's the trick, Andre. I don't always play Doom mods. I do vary it up a bit, and this is probably going to tie into a whole bunch of other questions about, what games do I like to play when I'm not playing Doom. I mean, in my downtime, I'll go and play some Battle Royale trash, as much as people like to turn their noses up at it. I've been playing a fair bit of Breath of the Wild, because I recently got a Switch, and I've been itching to play it. Turns out it's quite good. And over on my Steam, I have been investing a fair bit of time into Dark Souls lately, so that's how I get around burnout. If you want to get around any kind of burnout like that, just switch up the routine. Do something different. And that way, when you come back to the thing that you're supposed to be doing, which in my case is covering mods on a damn near weekly basis, it takes the edge off. Steven asks, did I read the manual for Hideous Destructor? Rithelda asks, what is the secret to growing such a glorious beard? Patience. A lot of patience. A lot of tolerance for being itchy all the goddamn time at a certain stage. And appropriate beard hair maintenance. Make sure you take care of that shit. And then the beard will take care of you. I mean, it makes me tea. It occasionally fetches some groceries for me. It's very useful having a beard. You wouldn't believe the things a beard can do. It's a magical thing. Truly it is. Jim asks, are there any mods I quit playing because they were too frustrating? If none, which ones got me the closest to quitting? There have been a few. There have been a few, but I don't tend to remember their names. In fact, names are terrible for me. I'm awful with names. I remember the kind of visuals of things that go on within something, but ask me to remember the name of it, and I just go completely blank. But there's actually been a few videos on the channel where I've had to state in the video itself that I didn't fully complete the WOD because it just annoyed me too much that I had more important things to do, like, you know, making tea. But one that would most assuredly come to mind is Psychophobia. In fact, I wouldn't have touched that WOD ever again if it wasn't for the fact that I had to play it through as a Twitch milestone. Why did I pick that? I guess I was feeling masochistic, but meh. Saber Outbreak asks, my question, if you had to do a top 3 best Doom mods, how would it go? How would it go? It would go something like a nervous breakdown, because I hate ranking things. I really, really do. I have a hard enough time picking favorites, let alone putting things in the top 3, because I'd get things in the top 3. Don't worry, I'd have things to put in it, but then I'd spend the rest of the day agonizing over whether it was the right choice, over what puts this particular mod over this particular mod. And then, before you know it, I've drank an entire bottle of vodka and several days have passed and I'm face down in a field with no pants on. So yeah, that's probably how it would go, which goes some way to explain why I haven't done it yet. Yeah. Mo asks, did I know that I was going to get to this point when I started this channel? No. And was it difficult to make these videos? I wouldn't say it was difficult, because I've had a good start, all things considered. I mean, I went to uni, I did a degree course in professional broadcast techniques, I learned how to use editing software, I learned how to capture stuff, so when it came to the act of putting things together, that was pretty simple and straightforward for me. Figuring out what exactly would work for YouTube, however, the thing that I would personally have enthusiasm for, I'd be able to make good content for, that was probably the more difficult part. Also, perseverance is difficult. Being able to stick with something and stay the course and continue doing it and have faith that what you're doing is good, that people are enjoying it, that can sometimes be difficult. Having belief in what you do is sometimes quite difficult. But yeah, still astonished that I'm here at this point, doing a 50k AMA. It's great. John S. asks, do I like racing games? Like Gran Turismo, Need for Speed? I do. I used to really like Gran Turismo, actually. The last Gran Turismo that I played was Gran Turismo 2. So yeah, we're going back a bit. We're going back a bit with that one. After that, I think my particular niche for racing games was like sci-fi anti-grav races. I was a huge fan of the Wipeout series. Really liked the Wipeout series. Really like Roll Cage, which is why I'm quite excited for a game that's in early access called Grip. That's basically a successor to Roll Cage. Redout as well is like a modern successor to Wipeout, which is really good, by the way. You should totally give it a go if you're in the mood for that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my style of racing game. That's the kind of thing I go for, rather than the more realistic sim-style stuff. Nobody in particular asks, why do your hats keep changing? What hats? Serpico's Beard asks, do I like metal? If so, what are your favorite bands? It's a good job you specified bands, because I was about to talk about Bismuth. In terms of my favorite bands, Soilwork is certainly up there. Rammstein is certainly up there. There's a whole bunch of others as well. I mean, I listen to a crap ton of Mastodon. I listen to a heck of a lot of Strapping Young Lad. Got a lot of love for Devin Townsend. Honestly though, I listen to a wide range of stuff. I will pretty much listen to anything as long as it makes my head nod. And for the most part, the vast majority of stuff does. But yeah, on the front of listening to more stuff, I will be at Bloodstock Open Air this year, and there's a bunch of bands on the bill that I'm not familiar with, so I'm gonna be checking out a bit of their stuff, because you know, Rotting Christ sounds jolly. I'm gonna skip ahead a bit because I'm like 3-day-old questions. This is a long list. What did I do before YouTube? Denim asks. I worked in retail hell. Various places, electronics, grocery, that kind of stuff. I've seen some shit. I don't ever want to go back. Nitro asks, what is the most impressive thing that I've seen Doom running on? And more importantly, what electronic device would I use to play Doom that wasn't a PC, phone, or a console? Yeah, that's an easy one. A printer, and also a printer. Jake Succubite asks, what is my favorite JoJo season and why? Yeah, now we're getting to the real questions. Favorite JoJo season. I'm a little torn between the second half of part 3 and part 4. Or is it part 2? I really like part 2. Do I have to choose? Henrik asks, this question is just to test your credibility as a source of information. What's the meaning of life? You should know by now. I have no credibility. Also, the answer is 42. Rick Dice asks, how do I feel about Sergeant Mark IV and all the controversy surrounding him and his work? I don't really think about it much. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. Cynicism asks, what video games outside of Doom have had an influence on my life in regards to positive impact, and have any left me feeling enlightened in any way? Gotta be honest, that's a pretty deep question. I'm not sure if I'm equipped to answer that one. The first thing that probably comes to mind would be Metal Gear Solid, like the series as a whole, because that's been with me since my formative years, all the way up to fairly recently, what with Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and every step of the way, it's been a series that has made me think a little bit more deeply about whatever subject it brings up during the course of the story, be it the nature of information and how we communicate with each other, the effect of war, revenge, happy-go-lucky stuff like nuclear disarmament. You know, it's been a series that's stuck with me for a very long time, and I'd say that's probably the closest thing to a game that's had a positive impact on me personally as a person. But in terms of enlightenment, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. So, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day, because my brain is going numb, and if I attempt to answer any more questions, it's just gonna come out as some kind of garbled mouth noise, like... At the very least, I hope I managed to satisfy the majority of your curiosity. I know there were a lot of similar questions down there in the comments, so I tried to be as broad as possible to hopefully satisfy those questions, but if I missed any questions in particular, I'm very sorry. I'd love to get to them at some point, but I don't think I'd be able to actually give you a good answer at this particular point in time, because brain tired, brain need tea, brain need rest. Patrons! Can't forget about the patrons. Nope. This direction. It's always really confusing when you're on camera. There they go. They're great. They're wonderful people. If you want to be a patron link in the description. I'm going to go now. It's been a wild ride, and here's to another 50k subscribers. I'll see you again at 100k. I'm just going to disappear off the face of the earth until I get to 100k. Nah, I'll continue making videos. And if you'd like to see more of this kind of stuff where I spitball at you on the camera, well, not literally, yeah, I'm sure we can work something out. In any case, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.